Hola chicos. So here I'm going to talk about relative pronouns, and we're really going to focus on que and quien for this video. Um, you can see we're going to do some other stuff later on, but right now que and quien for this video. Now these, if you'll notice the spelling of it, que is that, which, or whom, is spelled Q-U-E. Right here, Q-U-E with an accent mark is the question word what. So that is a different word. Que without the accent mark is going to be what we're going to use right now for relative pronouns. Same thing with quien. Quien, who or whom or that is, or quienes, the plural form of that, is different than the question word. Even though it will translate pretty much the same way, it is used differently. So question words, when I'm asking, who is there, quien is the question word. That's that I use there with the accent mark on it. ¿Qué quieres? What do you want? That's a question. Accent mark. But these words are not used that way. They're spelled differently. They're used differently. So relative pronouns que and quien, let me show you how we use them. So what they do is they combine common elements between two different sentences or clauses. So in this sentence, we've got mis padres me regalaron la pintura. In this sentence, la pintura es muy bonita. So my parents gifted me this painting. The painting is very pretty. So la pintura es muy bonita. This is la pintura here, la pintura here. We are talking about the painting twice. What we can do is we can take what we know about the painting in this sentence and what we know about the painting in this sentence and put it together to form a longer sentence. Just a single sentence though. La pintura, so this is the painting, there's our common element, and we're going to use que to link it to some more information about this painting. La pintura que mis padres me regalaron. So what painting? We're talking about the one that my parents gifted me or gave me. Que mis padres me regalaron. This painting. So here's one of those, this is that first sentence here. We took that information from that first sentence and we already plugged it into this sentence, right? We set it off though with a que to give us a little adjective clause that we form here. La pintura que mis padres me regalaron. And then we're going to finish off the sentence. We've now modified our noun, la pintura. We're describing which painting we're talking about. But we already had another sentence with la pintura es muy bonita. And we can finish that sentence here. La pintura es muy bonita. And all we did was kind of interrupt it by putting some more information about that same painting, because we already had more information about that painting in another sentence. So, la pintura que mis padres me regalaron es muy bonita. The painting that my parents gave me is very beautiful. So we put both elements of this, of each sentence into one sentence by linking it with the word que. Now, we can do the same thing with people. Lourdes es muy inteligente. Lourdes estudia español. We've got this Lourdes is very smart and she studies Spanish. Let's put those together and we can say that Lourdes, who studies Spanish, is really smart. So Lourdes, quien estudia español, there's the information that we got from the second sentence combined with es muy inteligente with the information from the first sentence. So we put them both together, both the information from here, the information from here. Lourdes is what they both had in common. That's how they relate to one another and getting us our relative pronouns with, or we linked it with the word quien. Again, no accent mark there. And now we've got a more complex sentence. Let me also point out that the que for a relative pronoun in Spanish is not optional. That's something you have to have. In English, you can get away with getting rid of it a lot of the time, but in Spanish, you can't. So let's look at this sentence here. ¿Dónde está la cafetera que compré? Where is the coffee maker that I bought? Now in English, that word here could be omitted and it would still sound fine. Where's the coffee maker I bought? Where is the coffee maker I bought? That sounds like a perfectly good English sentence. But in Spanish, if you get rid of the que, it's not perfectly good anymore. That's a bad sentence. So, ¿dónde está la cafetera? Compré doesn't make sense. That's nonsense. So fix it. You got to keep the que in there. You must have that in there to combine the different clauses. In English, if you're to look through these word for word, where is the coffee maker? How do I say that? Where's the coffee maker? ¿Dónde está la cafetera? You know, I bought. Where's the coffee maker? I bought. Compré. That works. But when you do that in Spanish, when you put that all together, you have to link those two phrases, those two clauses together with a K. It's not optional. So let me go a little bit more on with quien. I would like to talk about, we've got two forms. We've got quien and we've got quienes. And you can see they're used as you probably would expect. One form is the singular, one form is the plural. So here you see it as an example used as the plural because it says, son las chicas de quienes me hablaste la semana pasada. Las chicas is plural. That's why the quienes is plural. It has to agree with the las chicas. If this asked, this is, are they the girls that you told me about last week or whom you told me about last week? We can rephrase that. If we had this as a singular, we could just simply say, is this the girl that you told me about last week? Es la chica de quien. So in that case, it'd be singular because la chica. Es la chica de quien me hablaste la semana pasada. And here we can do both ways too. Eva, a quien conocí anoche. Eva, whom I met last night, es mi nueva vecina, is my new neighbor. The a in front of it is referring to, it's the personal a because a person's receiving the action of being met. So whom I met, I met whom. The whom is referring to a person, and when a person receives the action of a verb of being met, you have to have the a in front of it. It's just worded in a different order here, but either way, still have the a has to be there. But this is a quien singular because Eva is singular. Now, if I made this plural and I said Eva y Paulina, a quienes conocí anoche. So I met two people yesterday. That would be plural, a quienes. We would have that as with the plural form. Now, you'll see it's often used after prepositions when we're using quien. We're going to be used after prepositions. Sometimes you use K, sometimes you can use quien, but when you're talking about after a preposition, you will, quien, first of all, is only going to be used with people. Okay, just K can be people, can be things, but quien can only be people that we're referring to. We can't use quien to refer to objects, just people. So, but they're often going to be used after prepositions, de quien, para quien, a quien, con quien. So you'll have the preposition before the quien or quienes. So I already mentioned how we sometimes will have, I showed an example where we had commas to separate our clauses. You can do that. And I also mentioned how we can use K to also refer to people, but not the other way around. You can't use quien to refer to things that aren't people, but you can use K to refer to people as well. So here are a couple examples. Lola, quien es cubana, es médica. We're just saying that Lola is a doctor, but we give a little bit more information about Lola. It may not be necessary, but we included it here. So we just want to say, Lola, quien es cubana, es médica. That quien es cubana just describes Lola a little bit more, but this clause is set off by commas. We do the same thing here. Su tía, que es alemana, ya llegó. His aunt already arrived. Su tía ya llegó, but we give a little bit more information about his aunt, and we just add the que es alemana, or we could have said quien es alemana, and it would also work. But we can use que or quien in this case, just like in, you can see the example, who is German. So que right here is translating as who is German, even though it's the word que and not the word quien. But of course, we could use the word quien here instead. Lola, que es cubana, es médica. That also works. So we can use que or quien sometimes as long as they're referring to people. You can't go que or quien if they're referring to people. I'm sorry, if they're not referring to people, you can only use que when it's not referring to a person.